Did you think losing weight would be easy? I did. I spent years trying, and I eventually dropped over 30 pounds and got below 10% body fat, but it was a grind. I wish I'd known how to do it smarter to speed up my results. So to help make weight loss 10 times easier for you, here are 35 things I learned about losing fat I wish I'd known a lot sooner. Number 1, have you ever noticed how people won't say a word if you eat junk food, slam alcohol, and treat your body like shit? But the minute you start eating well, they feel comfortable making fun of you. To avoid this, I try to downplay my goals, avoid drawing attention to myself and my journey, but it just made navigating social scenarios way harder, especially when making dinner plans. Lesson 1 is to embrace your journey and share it with your friends, family, and coworkers. It provides extra accountability, and most people will support you, even revealing that they're on a similar journey themselves. And remember, if someone doesn't, it's just their own insecurity talking. They'll eventually start asking you for advice. Number 2, did you know that 95% of the calories you burn every day are outside of the gym? I didn't. I thought that cardio is how you burn fat. So I spent years crushing weight training, HIIT training, CrossFit, and even doing 2-a-days. Yet the more I did, I'd just end up burning out. Lesson number 2 is that cardio is overrated for burning fat. The vast majority of your calorie burn every day is from your metabolism and the movement the other 23 hours of the day. A bare minimum of 8,000 steps spread across the day paired with proper nutrition will drive weight loss, while you can use your time in the gym to build muscle, which will support your metabolism over time. Number 3, I always obsessed over the perfect nutrition and exercise plan, but would write off my sleep and recovery as something I could add in when I could. But then I'd have a hell of a time following it because my sleep was causing increased cravings, poor recovery, and low energy overall. Then I learned about how important not just sleep, but your circadian rhythm is for your health. I took a step back and focused everything I could to optimize that. All of a sudden, I was more energized, recovering better, and it made the right food choices and exercise come pretty naturally. Lesson 3 is that the perfect program only works if you do. After testing all the morning routines under the sun, I found a 10-minute outdoor walk as close to sunrise as possible is about as high ROI as it gets. Then throw a pair of blue light blockers on after sunset, and these 2 habits will unlock easy mode for your diet and exercise by regulating your appetite, decreasing cravings, increasing energy, and boosting your motivation. Number 4. When I first started on my fitness journey, I was constantly trying to lose more weight, but I'd end up starving and my energy would crash. But then I heard about body recomposition, where you can actually build muscle and lose fat at the same time, and I went all in. I started noticing my body drastically changing despite the scale not going down at all. Lesson 4 is don't hyperfixate on the scale. Pay attention to your gym performance, how your clothes fit, body measurements, and progress photos, because if you're building muscle, the scale won't show you the full picture, and contrary to popular belief, you don't need to gain weight to build some muscle. You can actually build muscle while you lose weight or maintain your weight. Number 5, everywhere I looked online, people said all you need is a calorie deficit to lose weight. So I'd track my calories and make sure I didn't overeat. I'd lose some weight, but honestly, I'd just end up looking skinny fat. Lesson 5 is that weight loss does not equal fat loss. You need to create a calorie deficit to lose weight, but to actually maximize fat loss and keep your muscle, you need to eat enough protein, lift weights 3 times per week, and get sufficient sleep. Without this, you'll just end up looking worse and gain the weight right back. Check the description below for my free protein hacks guide to put this on autopilot. Number 6, I used to search the internet far and wide for the perfect meal plan to get shredded. I'd pick one, cut out specific foods, and follow it for a few weeks nearly perfectly, only to step on the scale and be up a few pounds. Lesson 6 is what gets measured gets managed. You need to track your calories. No matter how clean you're eating, to drop the scale, you need to eat less calories than you're burning. And this is damn near impossible without tracking your food, no matter how good you think you're eating. If you want a free spreadsheet to find your target calories and track the other key metrics for fat loss success, grab my free 4-week fat loss challenge in the description below. Number 7. Macros can feel like a full-time job, trying to plan out perfect 5 to 6 meals a day while playing Tetris with your fats, carbs, protein, and calories. But then I learned that if you control for total calories and protein, your results really won't be any different no matter how many carbs or fats you eat. So I started focusing on my total for the day and dropped the stress about meal timing and macros. I got better results that were more flexible than ever. Lesson 7 is to control total calories and protein and be flexible with how many meals you eat and what time you're eating them. Your results really won't change, but it'll take up 10 times less headspace and you'll just be way more flexible. Just make sure you keep your meal times generally consistent each day with whatever times work best for you. Number 8. Flexible dieting was a lifesaver when I stopped eating perfectly clean all the time. So I'd work in a ton of my favorite foods and slowly got a little too relaxed about eating junk. I was hitting my calories, but I was starving, sluggish, and just didn't feel great despite controlling my calories. Lesson number 8 is not all calories are equal. Aim to get 80% of your calories from whole foods like lean meats, fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Aim for 25 grams of fiber for women and 35 grams for men. It'll keep you more full, get you micronutrients, and honestly make it 10 times easier to stick to your calorie target. Number 9. In a world of TikTok recipes, protein desserts, and endless content, everyone's under the impression that they need to be a gourmet chef making elaborate recipes. But every time I do this, I'd get overwhelmed, buy too many groceries at the store, and half of them would go bad. So I said screw it and just started eating the same meals on repeat every day and every week. I got better results, wasted less food, and I became such a pro at preparing them that they hardly took up any headspace or time. Lesson number 9 is to build a meal rotation. You're probably only eating the same 5 to 10 meals on repeat anyways, so find a few options for breakfast, lunch, and dinner that work for you, and then keep frozen protein and vegetables you can toss in the air fryer in a pinch. These won't go bad, and they're a game changer to have around. When you get sick of one of the meals, just rotate it out. Keep it stupid simple. Number 10. Tracking your food is great, but at first, every time I'd go out to eat or have a social event, I'd obsess over trying to account for everything and it would ruin the experience for me. But then I found out about a simple way to just organize your plate without having to track anything. I started using it at home, out to dinner, and honestly anywhere when I didn't want to track my food, and I kept my results and enjoyed myself 10 times more. Lesson 10 is to use the power plate method. Divide your plate into 4, fill half of it with vegetables, a quarter of it with carbs, and a quarter of it with protein. This will lead to a balanced, high fiber, high protein meal with low to moderate calories without starving yourself. Number 11. Do you have a sweet tooth? I do. I loved the idea of including Oreos or something sweet in moderation with my daily calorie goal. So I'd buy some Oreos or ice cream to include at the end of the day. But honestly, I'd just end up snacking on it in the daytime and the temptation was just too high. So then I switched to a Greek yogurt bowl with frozen berries and honey. I would get a huge amount of food for minimal calories and top off my protein and fiber for the day, and I'd be so full by the time I was done. Lesson 11 is to find a high volume sweet substitute you can have every night to crush your temptations to snack elsewhere. Number 12. I was a firefighter for 4 years, and my entire rookie year, I always had to be the first one done with meals so I could wash the other 10 guys' dishes when they finished up. So I slammed my food as fast as possible, barely giving myself the chance to breathe between bites and hardly chewing it at all. It wasn't long before I ended up with some serious digestion issues. Lesson 12 is to focus on how you eat just as much as what you eat. Slow down, chew each bite thoroughly, put the phones and TVs away, focus on each bite, sip some water between bites, and take some deep breaths to bring yourself into a rest and digest state. Number 13, I can't tell you the amount of times I'd step on the scale in the morning after having a few great days and see it pop up like 4 pounds overnight. But then I started to zoom out and look at 7-day averages of my scale, my calories, and my steps. This forced me to see the overall trend, stick with it, and see that those day-to-day fluctuations really don't mean shit. Lesson 13 is to pay attention to weekly averages instead of daily targets. This will allow you to be more flexible with your food across the week, make up for busier days where you can't move as much, and see the bigger picture of your body weight changes. Number 14. Fasting is all the rage, and when I first found out about it, I loved the sound of being able to eat whatever I wanted in a certain time. I started drinking coffee in the mornings and eating my first meals at noon, but what I noticed is it was way harder to get my protein in, and I started justifying more junk food to myself, and eating at like 8 p.m. would really mess up my sleep. Lesson 14 is to reverse fast. Eat a big breakfast with a ton of protein and fiber. This will keep you full, and some studies actually show it'll lead to more spontaneous movement throughout your day. Then wrap up your eating for the day at least 2 hours before you go to bed, and you'll sleep way deeper. Number 15. Every time I'd start a diet, I'd read about all these foods that are terrible for you: sugar, carbs, gluten, dairy. So I'd cut them out entirely, basically only eating super clean foods. It would take a ton of willpower, and after a few weeks, I'd crash and end up eating all those bad foods like crazy, and then beat the shit out of myself in my head for being a terrible person and fall off for a few weeks, triggering an all or nothing cycle. Lesson 15 is drop good and bad labels around food. If you cut something out, it'll make you want it even more and make it damn near impossible to find balance. Add more of the good stuff first, like protein and fiber, so that you're actually full, and then cutting down on the quote unquote bad stuff will come naturally later. Number 16. I've spent a lot of mental energy trying to become more disciplined and create more willpower. But then I read a fascinating study that showed the most successful people don't actually have more discipline or willpower. They just rely on it less. So I started optimizing my environment to make the right choices as easy as possible and minimize distractions. And I got better results without even having to force anything. Lesson number 16 is your environment is 90% of the battle. Don't keep junk food in the house. Keep the fruit and healthy options available and in sight at all times. Don't hang around people and places that make it harder to resist your temptations. If you work a lot, get a treadmill and a standing desk so you can walk while you work. Invest in some home gym equipment and order your groceries for delivery if needed. Make the right choices inevitable. Number 17. The entire industry is telling you to cut calories because a calorie deficit is all that matters for fat loss. But if all you do is look at the calories you're eating, the only option you have is to cut calories further and further while tanking your energy in the process when you hit a plateau. By focusing on maximizing your calories out, you can still achieve a calorie deficit without cutting calories like crazy because you start burning a lot more. Lesson number 17 is to increase your metabolism by walking more, building lean muscle, and eating more whole unprocessed foods so that you can still lose fat while eating as many calories as possible. It's the only way you'll actually succeed long term. Number 18. In my early 20s, I would bust my ass all week and then throw it all out the window on the weekends, telling myself I was living the 80-20 rule. But when it didn't work, I tried to go even harder during the weekdays. And this only made the pendulum swing even harder on the weekends to even it out. Lesson 18 is that you can't outwork a weekend free-for-all. It's not impossible to do it while having alcohol here and there, but really ask yourself what type of life you want to be living long-term and if regular drinking has a place in it alongside your goals. I won't tell you whether or not it does, but track your food and bring awareness to how it makes you feel. Number 19. Hustle culture full of David Goggins and other people screaming at you to shut up and do the work is everywhere online. So I do CrossFit for metabolic conditioning, lift weights to build muscle, and add in extra HIIT to torch my body fat, but I just end up burning out. Lesson 19 is that successful fat loss is a marathon, not a sprint. You may not always need to add more working out, but try to start working in. Incorporate some meditation, some yoga, some breath work, or any other practices that help you really calm down, get out of your head, and rest. Number 20. I never really wanted to be absolutely massive with a ton of muscle, and most people I talk to don't either. But when I cut down as much body fat as I could, I just looked like skin and bones. It made me realize just how much muscle mass I need to have that toned or lean physique. So I embraced building muscle and slowly but surely started to look better, leaner, and more healthy at a higher number on the scale, which meant I got to eat more food. Lesson 20 is that you need more muscle than you think. That lean, toned look you want can't be achieved with specific workouts. You just flat out need to build muscle over time. And trust me, you're not going to accidentally turn into a bodybuilder. Commit to building muscle for the long haul. Number 21. For some reason, I always thought sweating and breathing like crazy were the markers of a good workout. That high intensity cardio mixed with weight training would have some special way of sculpting my body, and I needed the right combination of high reps, low weight, and heavy weights, low reps for different goals. Yet I wouldn't make any progress despite going all out every single workout. But then I started actually tracking my weights and increasing them week over week with the same workouts while resting way more between sets. I got better results than ever with a quarter of the effort and way less injuries doing it. Lesson 21 is to train close to failure. It doesn't matter if it's 5 reps or 30 reps. Our goal is to stimulate muscle growth in the gym, whether you're cutting or bulking. And the biggest predictor of growing muscle is taking each set close to failure, meaning you could barely get 1 to 2 more reps at the end of each set. Keep your workouts consistent for 4 to 6 weeks at a time and progress them week over week. If you want a free routine to get started, check the link in the description for my strength workouts. Number 22, there's a lot of options out there for workout splits. Push-pull legs, upper, lower, full body. This used to overwhelm me and cause me to program hop every other month, never staying consistent with something. But then I learned it doesn't really matter that much as long as you do the same amount of work total throughout the week. So I tried a full body split, literally hitting every muscle group every workout. I loved it, and it made it way easier to navigate busy seasons, vacations, and holidays when it was harder to get in the gym as frequently. Lesson 22 is to train full body if you have an unpredictable schedule. And if you're going to miss a day, you don't have to skip that workout entirely. Just do the next day up the next time you get into the gym, no matter what week it is. Number 23. I used to think that barbells and functional training would lead to better gains and machines were for amateurs. Yet loading all the bars with plates and warming up would end up making my workouts last way too long. So I started working in more machines and cables. And I got just as good of results while spending less time in the gym because I could just select a weight on the machine and go. Plus, I was way less injury prone because the weights are on a fixed track. Lesson 23 is to not be afraid of machines. They're a great option, they're quicker, and your muscles only know the tension you're placing on them. Stick with it and progress it, and you will make progress. Include the barbells if you want, but dumbbells and machines are more than enough to completely transform your body. Number 24. I absolutely love caffeine. Coffee, pre-workout, energy drinks, you name it. Slowly but surely, I'd start justifying another cup here and there, and before I knew it, I'd be in a treacherous loop of terrible sleep and getting tired in the mornings and then drinking it all day, every day, trying to patch it up. And I'd just end up wired and tired. Lesson 24 is to caffeinate strategically. It's a wonderful tool, but it's tricky. Keep it to 200 or 300 milligrams maximum and cut it off after 10 a.m. so you don't get caught in a bad loop. Number 25. It's easy to get sidetracked by all the marketing and influencers telling you about special supplements for everything under the sun. And if you aren't careful, you'll end up spending hundreds of dollars every month and popping pills like it's your job. I got fed up and cut them all out for a while, and I didn't really notice a thing. Lesson 25 is that supplements are supplemental. There's a few core supplements that can help. I'd recommend creatine, omega-3s, magnesium, vitamin D, and a multivitamin, but these will provide maybe an extra 5% on top of your daily movement, strength training, nutrition intake, protein intake, and sleep. So check the link in the description if you want to get 30% off my favorite company called Thorne. Number 26. Last summer, I was feeling terrible and I had no idea why. I thought I was sick, I thought it was stress, but nothing was helping. So I got my blood work done that I typically get done every 6 to 12 months, and I found out I was iron deficient. No wonder I was exhausted. Lesson 26 is to get your blood work done regularly. You never know when something is holding you back, and if nothing else, it's a great baseline to have for your hormones as you age. Just don't let this delay you from changing your lifestyle. Now, unfortunately, most insurance won't cover preventative testing, so if you want my recommendation, check the link below for the panel I'd recommend. Number 27. Every single time I'd try to go all out on my routine with a bunch of moving parts, one of them falling off was enough to cause the entire thing to come crashing down. But then I heard this analogy of treating your fitness habits like a dimmer switch. So instead of turning it off completely, you can just turn the dimmer down depending on what's going on in your life. This turned my previously catastrophic days into days where I'd still do something and I'd keep my momentum, and this made it 10 times easier to hop right back to it the next day. Lesson 27 is to turn the dial down, but never off. Instead of skipping your workout, do lighter weight and less sets. Instead of 8,000 steps, do 6,000. Instead of tracking all your food, just focus on getting enough protein. Make a plan B and C as backup so that you have some bare minimums to focus on and can preserve your momentum, which is everything when it comes to consistency. Lesson 28. When I first started working out, I thought getting a six-pack would solve all my problems. So I optimized absolutely everything I could, no matter the cost. If it took an extra 30 minutes per day, but it got me 1% better, I'd do it. And it worked. I got absolutely shredded, but I realized I had zero life outside of my fitness and it just wasn't worth it. Lesson 28 is to find your why. It's okay to want to look good, but if that's the only reason you're doing this, you won't stick it out when times are tough, or you'll sacrifice everything to get there and miss the point. After all, if you're doing this to be energized and present with your kids, you don't want to be skipping ice cream with them to just save a few calories every couple weeks. Your why will become your internal compass to find the true balance of what you do and don't want. Number 29, I have spent hours of my life trying to find that one thing, the villain, the culprit of why I wasn't where I wanted to be. I desperately wanted it to be true. It's the carbs, it's the gluten, it's the food dyes. So I'd go all out, cutting them out, yet life still wasn't perfect, shiny rainbows. Lesson 29 is that nothing is wrong with you. You're not lazy or broken, you're human. Fat loss is hard because we're biologically wired to eat as many calories as possible while expending as little as possible in order to survive. But we're in an environment where calories are no longer scarce and there's nothing requiring us to move around. So resist the temptation to see one thing as the devil and realize that 99% of issues come down to too many calories and not enough movement. Sure, cut out those specific ingredients if you'd like, but you can include pretty much anything you want in moderation. And if most of your nutrition is filled with whole, unprocessed foods, you're going to be extremely healthy. Number 30. With all the calorie tracking apps, fitness wearables, and science behind what's best for burning calories and creating the body you want, it's easy to forget the bigger picture. I started realizing I'd only do things if I could track it or get a stimulus out of it for my fitness goals, and slowly but surely I forgot how to have fun moving my body. Lesson number 30 is to keep activities in your life without an end goal. Play sports you enjoy, ride a bike, chase your dogs. Whatever it is, do something every single day that isn't done for the calories burned or to check off a box. Playing for the long haul is way easier if you have activities you genuinely enjoy in your life. Number 31. As an overthinker, it seems the work never ends. There's always something else to add, another hack, another tool, more to learn, and it gets overwhelming. So when this happens and I'm worried about what else to add, I use this as a warning that I'm actually doing too much and need to slow down with a silent walk or some meditation. This quickly clears my mind and the right next step usually appears. Lesson number 31 is to breathe. We're all super stressed and constantly in fight or flight. The breath is the fastest tool to slow yourself down and get out of your head. Breathe through your nose, really slow down your exhales, and simply pay attention to the air moving in and out of your body. Whether it's 10 seconds or 10 minutes, tune into your breath to build more mindfulness into your day. This is also a great time buffer if cravings or temptations are hitting. Pause, breathe, and then act. Number 32. Every single time I would reach a goal or make progress, I just have my eyes on what was next and get down on myself for not being perfect. But then I read a book called The Gap in the Gain and started measuring progress backwards, comparing myself to what I was doing 1 week, 1 month, or even 1 year ago, and reflecting on the progress I had made so far. My mindset completely flipped on its head to start looking for positives, and my results got even better because I wasn't wasting energy beating myself up all the time. Lesson 32 is to focus on progress over perfection. Our human nature is to always look at what's next and what's going wrong, but turning around and giving yourself credit for the small wins every single day will create a life of positivity for you and those around you. Number 33. Every single time I'd get motivated when life would slow down and go all in for a few months, ready to completely transform my body, I'd look in the mirror and be devastated that I'd hardly changed at all. Then I'd just get frustrated and end up switching programs yet again. Lesson 33 is to zoom out. You'll overestimate what you can do in a couple months, but drastically underestimate what you can do in a year. Who cares how long this is going to take if you actually keep your results forever? Stop putting so much pressure on yourself and commit to something you can actually do for 6 to 12 months. Number 34. Everything is easy when you're hyped up and motivated. You crush a workout, you make the healthy meal, but then eventually it always fades. I used to spend so much time and energy trying to hype myself back up, thinking something was wrong if I wasn't motivated, and obsessing over how to get that easy feeling back again. But every single time, it would eventually fade. Lesson 34 is to stick to your plan, not your mood. We spend way more time and energy trying to make ourselves motivated instead of just working out despite how we feel. If you really don't feel like it one day, commit to the first 5 minutes of your workout and go home after if you still don't turn it around. You'll probably end up staying for the whole thing. Number 35. Trying to find what was right and wrong about nutrition quickly led me to looking to science to determine what I should and shouldn't be eating. So I drown out everything, look at the studies, and base my decisions off of those. But all of a sudden, I realized I lost complete connection with my own digestion and my own body and what works for me individually. Lesson 35 is to use failure as feedback. Don't outsource how you're feeling in response to specific workouts, foods, and protocols to people on the internet, including me. Take everything I say and try it for yourself, keep what works, and ditch whatever doesn't. Everyone is different, and studies aren't perfect. At the end of the day, adherence is the biggest driver of results, and a lot of different things can work. So view failure as feedback and keep learning until you find the things that work for you. And if you want to skip a lot of that failure to the most effective system I've found for busy professionals, watch this video here where I break down exactly what I do if I was starting at 30% body fat.